The House will come to order. Today, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Representative Caldwell from House District 20. Mr. Schiebel, please call the roll.
Representatives Armagost, Bacon, Barone, Byrd, Basenecker, Bottoms, Bradfield, Bradley,
Here.
Brooks, Brown, Caldwell, Camacho, Carter, Clifford, DeGraff, Duran, English, Espinoza, Foray, Froelich, Garcia, Sander, Gilchrist,
Present.
Gonzalez, Hamrick, Hartsook, Jackson, Johnson, Joseph, Kelty, Leader, Lindsay, Lindstead, Luck, Lukens, Mabry, Marshall, Martinez.
Here.
Representative Morrow is excused. McCormick, Pascal, Rep. Pascal, Phillips, Puglisi, Minority Leader Puglisi, Richardson, Ricks, Rootnell, Ryden, Sirota, Smith, Soper, Stewart K, Stewart R, Story, Sukla, Taggart, Rep. Taggart,
Excused.
Tatone, Valdez A, Velasco, Weinberg, Wilford. Oh, Rep. Wilford is excused. Winter. Woodrow. Woog. Zokai. Representative Zokai.
Excused.
And Madam Speaker.
Here. It's okay. I just push power. No, not yet. Do I have to do something? 61? With 61 present for excused, we do have a quorum. Representative Caldwell.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Journal of Friday, January 24th, 2025 be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Members, you have heard the motion that the journal be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Members, I have a very important announcement this morning. The Chief Clerk has received communications from the Secretary of State concerning the election by vacancy committee of Jamie Jackson to fill the vacancy in House District 41 as created by the resignation of Representative, now Senator, Iman Judah. If there is no objection, the documents will not be read at length as they will be printed in full in the journal. And Representative Jackson was given the oath of office here in the House chamber this morning at 9:45. Her name has been added to the roll call for the House. Members, please join me in welcoming Representative Jackson. Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to proceed out of order for consideration of House Joint Resolution 25-1006.
Members, seeing no objection, we will proceed out of order for consideration of House Joint Resolution 1006. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title of House Joint Resolution 1006.
House Joint Resolution 1006 by Representatives McCormick and Johnson, also Senators Pelton, B., and Roberts, concerning the designation of Colorado 4-H Day.
Representative McCormick.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the adoption of HJR 25-1006 and ask for it to be read at length, please.
Mr. Schiebel, please read our resolution.
Whereas the Colorado 4-H Youth Development Program is founded on the notion that youth are a vital resource for ensuring a better tomorrow, and assisting youth as they prepare for the future is the 4-H program's central mission. And whereas the Colorado 4-H program is an integral part of the Colorado State University Extension and is fundamental to the land-grant university mission. And whereas participation in 4-H in Colorado is open to youth between the ages of 5 and 19 from all economic, social, and cultural backgrounds. And whereas more than 107,000 Colorado youth, with the guidance of more than 11,000 adult and youth volunteer leaders, currently contribute to their communities and gain practical experience and career exploration through their 4-H projects and activities. And whereas 4-H grows young people who have essential life skills like confidence, courage, resilience, and curiosity, and who are empowered and prepared for life today and tomorrow. And whereas compared to their peers, youth involved in 4-H programs are 4 times more likely to make contributions to their communities and 2 times more likely to be civilly engaged, to make healthier choices, and to participate in after-school STEM programs. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 75th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the Senate concurring herein, that the General Assembly salutes the Colorado 4-H program in partnership with Colorado State University Extension in its efforts to prepare Colorado's youth for the future by providing a wealth of opportunities for young people to acquire decision-making, leadership, and communication skills in a hands-on, friendly learning environment, that the General Assembly encourages young people in Colorado to get a head start in life by participating in 4-H activities, and that the General Assembly hereby declares Monday, January 27, 2025, to be Colorado 4-H Day in recognition of the 4-H program's efforts on behalf of Colorado's youth.
Representative McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you all very much for standing to recognize this day. We have this recognition every year, and some other fun facts that I learned. Number one, I wish I had been able to be in 4-H somewhere in my lifetime, but being in a military family, moving every year, it was just impossible. But learning about all the great things that 4-H does and their programs that they offer our young people to develop life skills, and from farming to livestock to public speaking to cooking, art, and more. This has been around since the early part of the 1900s. The 4-H name and the emblem are protected by Congress from commercial or unauthorized use. And one of their mottos, which I think is really great, is to make the best better, encouraging each member to do their best and even try to improve the next time. And I want to welcome all 4-H members that are here today with us, both youth and adults. Thank you to the CSU Extension Office who oversees this program statewide. So if you will, you're already standing, so that's great. Maybe just wave and recognize so we can give you a round of applause.
Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is with great honor to recognize these 4-Hers, these rising stars, to our people's capital here today. Having been a 4-Her myself, I have rooted in the principles and the practices that they are now learning, and they will continue with them for a lifetime. It was a great promise that I made when I was a 4-Her for the pledge. When we say, I pledge my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living for my club, my community, my country, and my world. And I can guarantee you, every 4-Her who takes this pledge will continue this throughout their life as they continue to do great things for not just their community, not just for the ag, but for this urban-rural divide that we see, for their peers as we move forward to be greater humans, and to offer greater facility of discussions in a respectful manner, because these rising stars I had the pleasure to see yesterday at their conference, they truly are leading with passion, purpose, and they're persistent to get the world to a greater place as they move forward, and eventually, I hope, take our jobs and become the future leaders that lead Colorado, our nation, and our world. So thank you so much for coming today, the work you do. Thank you to all of the advisors and the parents who help foster and help steward these young adults as they move forward to do great things.
Thank you, members. Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of House Joint Resolution 1006. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Martinez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Martinez votes yes. Representative Gilchrist, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Gilchrist votes yes. Representative Bradley, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bradley votes yes. Please close the machine. With 61 ayes, 0 no, 4 excused, House Joint Resolution 1006 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Co-sponsors, Rep. Bradley, Rep. Martinez, Rep. Gilchrist. Please close the machine. Members, our next order of business is third reading. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1054.
House Bill 1054 by Representative Basenecker, also Senators Peltonar and Gonzalez, concerning repealing the requirement that the Legislative Audit Committee cause to be conducted performance reviews of the Automobile Inspection and Readjustment Program every 5 years.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1054 on third reading and final passage.
The motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1054 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Martinez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Martinez votes yes. Representative Bradley, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bradley votes no. Representative Gilchrist, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Gilchrist votes yes. Representative DeGraff? Please close the machine. With 52 aye, 10 no, and 3 excused, House Bill 1054 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1029.
House Bill 1029 by Representative Basenecker, also Senator Kipp, concerning the scope of municipal authority over land that a municipality acquires that is outside its municipal limits.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1029 on third reading and final passage.
Representative Sukala.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a pleasure to serve with you on this fine day.
It is a pleasure to serve with you on this fine day.
Seeing all these kids that are sitting around here, I would like to tell you something about this bill. This bill is a private property rights taking. If you vote yes on this bill, what you will do, you will give municipalities the authority to control the private land that are surrounding the government land. I came here so that I could support the future of the children. And if this bill passes, you are taking away their rights to live free. So this is chipping away just a little bit of their freedom. I ask that you vote no on this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Representative DeGraff.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I did have a question about this bill as to why the municipalities were owning property outside of their municipality, and that of course was a great deal of concern. Then we're talking about the buffers and all that around there. So I'm against this bill. I agree. I think it's a taking, especially when you're one looking at the municipality owning the property, when you're looking at the buffers around it, and then when you're looking at enforcement. I think there's a lot more that's going on behind this. There's a lot more going on below the duck than what we're seeing on top of the water. And so I'd ask for a no until we can kind of get a better idea of what's the motivation behind actually the motivation behind the bill.
Assistant Minority Leader Winter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Folks, I'm in the same boat. I ran on private property rights, and that's a huge issue. Like I stated before, I come from a district where my constituents saw land taken for the Pinon Canyon Maneuver Site. Also saw land taken based on a dam that we put in our area. And even though this isn't a land taking, this is opening up the ability for somebody to come in and do something on your property. And I think, private property rights, freedom is what this country was founded upon. Being able to do with your property what you want to. And I think time and time again, as we see the urban areas grow, I think they encroach more and more on rural areas and the way that we do business and the way we live our lives. And I agree with my colleague from the Southwest. It's just, chip at a time, death by 1,000 cuts. So I think it's important to keep private property landowners whole and for them to be able to say what goes on their property and wasn't to go on their property, whether it's a buffer or not. There's not many times that the private property rights or private property owners get that buffer the opposite way. It's usually an unbalanced and unfair scale. So for that reason, I will be voting no. Thank you.
Representative Kelty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Speaker, I'm actually asking for a no vote on this as well. This is not a good bill. And honestly, it's a land grab. I mean, anyone who wants to give up their property, they can do that on their own, but the government should not be doing it. And if you're okay with letting your constituents know that you're okay with them losing their property and their property rights, then go ahead and vote yes. But I'm voting no because I believe that private property is private property and the government has no reason taking it from anyone. Thank you.
Speaker Pro Tem Basenecker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
Members, I'll keep it very brief. I don't disagree in the least. That's why we took everything related to eminent domain out of the bill. There is no opportunity for any of those scenarios to play out. Amendments matter. Bill language matters. I would encourage a thorough review of those things. I certainly encourage you to vote your conscience. However, eminent domain and any opportunity for our local governments to do anything beyond what they do right now has been removed from the bill. We'd ask for a yes vote. This is a public safety bill and also a cost savings bill, so our sheriff's office aren't burdened with responding to an issue that our municipalities have the obligation to do themselves. Thank you.
Representative DeGraff, this is your second time to speak to the bill. You have 9 minutes and 13 seconds remaining.
I only used 47 seconds the first time. That's disappointing. I have I'll try to drag this out a little bit. I have a question mainly because we're not talking about eminent domain. We're saying there's not a land grab. Obviously, when there's a lot of amendments that come through, when we're talking about 700 bills rolling downhill at us in 100 days, forgive me for not being full up on the number. I think that's an example of legislation in the state and government being done to the people of Colorado instead of for them. But my question is, if this is not eminent domain, if this is not a taking, as I understand it, and I'll go back and read it just like you suggested, read it a little bit more carefully, is that there is still a 300-foot buffer. So so we're somehow facilitating the municipalities to own property outside of their municipality. Why? I don't know. Then they have a 300-foot buffer, one football field, around their property, by which they have some level of enforcement. Why? I don't know. So one thing I like to know is I like to know my unknowns, and this has a lot of unknowns that I don't know. So I would like to know, what is the motivation behind this? Who brought this? Why do municipalities need property outside? Why do they need a buffer of enforcement around the property that is questionable why they need outside of their municipality? So that if there is a 300-foot buffer, that is encroaching, that is taking the property value, the property rights away from the individual that owns that property, up to which the municipality owns. Now, I know the overall goal is the abolition of private property in general, but that's a pretty huge taking around of control around that municipality-owned land outside of the municipality. So why does the municipality need to own property outside the municipality? Why does the municipality need to have a buffer zone around its municipal property outside of the municipality? Those are questions I'd like to find out the answers to, besides who's actually pushing this bill forward. So for those reasons, I'll be a no, and I hope you'll join me.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1029 on third and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Martinez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Martinez votes yes. Representative Gilchrist, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Gilchrist votes yes. Representative Bradley, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bradley votes no. Please close the machine. With 41 aye, 21 no, and 3 excused, House Bill 1029 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1076.
House Bill 1076 by Representatives Basenecker and Lindsay, also Senators Cutter and Simpson, concerning documents related to the division of motor vehicles.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1076 on third reading and final passage.
Representative Richardson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
Yes. This bill covers a lot of territory within DMV, makes a lot of small corrections to things that do need to be corrected. I did want to highlight one area that is actually of quite a bit of importance to our veterans. Current law requires that you be permanently judged to be 50% disabled before being entitled to disabled veteran plates. This strikes the permanent requirement and allows anybody that has a permanent or temporary disability judged that amounts to 50% to be entitled to those plates. I'm one such veteran, and I know there are plenty out there as well that have temporary but essentially perpetual disabilities that'll never be corrected and are not entitled to those plates. So I would urge support of this bill. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1076 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Martinez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Martinez votes yes. Representative Gilchrist, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Gilchrist votes yes. Representative Bradley, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bradley votes no. Please close the machine. With 58 aye, 4 no, and 3 excused, House Bill 1076 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Shebel, please read the title to House Bill 1019.
House Bill 1019 by Representative Sirota, also Senator Hendrickson, concerning third-party administration of programs for persons experiencing homelessness that are overseen by the Division of Housing in the Department of Local Affairs.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1019 on third reading and final passage.
Representative DeGraff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just kind of curious why, now I do agree with some of this stuff that probably a private organization is going to do much better than a government organization, but then we have this problem of just giving money to government organizations largely without any level of accountability. I looked it up just to get a take on it this morning. Article 5, Section 34 of our Constitution, appropriations to private institutions are forbidden. That is that's the short answer for Article 5, Section 34. The longer answer for Article 5, Section 34, appropriations to private institutions are forbidden. Well, that's pretty clear. No appropriation shall be made for charitable, industrial, education, or benevolent purposes to any purpose, person, corporation, community, not under the absolute control of the state, nor under any denominational or sectarian institution or association. And people are generally surprised when they ask for money from the state that the state assumes them to be under their absolute control. Maybe they don't tell them that, but the words are not covert at all. The words are absolute control. So what I don't see in this is the mechanism of absolute control, and I don't see who this is going to be. This is what this is, and when I look at the fiscal note, I thought, well, let's see what the fiscal note is. The fiscal note is 0. So somehow we are going to give money to somebody, but it will be 0. Oh, wait, I don't know, that's an official document. Is that considered a prop? The cost of giving money to outside organizations is 0. Although the bill has no impact on overall funding for the homelessness program. Administrative expenses may change, increased cost for contract administration and oversight. So these are unknowns that we have. We don't know what the increased cost for administration and oversight. What we know is that we're going to give them to nonprofit organizations. Now that's just kind of our little buzzword for we feel good about nonprofit organizations because ideologically the majority hates profits. But that doesn't mean these places are not profitable. It just means that they keep the profits internally, often with very large salaries. And they're able to afford a very large lobbyist pool, often getting them elected. And then it's even more lucrative. So when we have this, now this isn't out of here, but this is an example of the possibility, because we are giving hundreds of millions of dollars away every year to nonprofit organizations with no oversight that are de facto government organizations. So what we do to avoid the oversight for the money laundering is that the money goes to nonprofit organizations, and then the nonprofit organizations do with do with that money as they see fit, with very little oversight. I would say none. So here's an example that was done by the CPR News. The campaign's premise was simple. For nothing more than a modest sales tax increase, it was wafer thin, Denver could create a $45 million per year stream of grants to nonprofit mental health and drug treatment programs. Every year, we raise millions of dollars, we justify millions of dollars for mental health, and then the next year, what's reported is that mental health in Colorado has gotten worse. This initiative will give us the capacity to get everyone who needs help in a place where they can get help they need, said the doctor, the president and CEO of a large Denver community mental health provider. It's the type of thing that is a game changer. Voters enthusiastically bought into the concept, and after 6 years and more than $170 million in dollars granted, a year-long review by CPR News found that the game has indeed changed, but perhaps not in the way that supporters and voters envisioned. Caring for Denver, the not-for-profit organization that advocated for the tax and now manages it, has funneled...
Representative
Yes, ma'am.
DeGraff, appreciate this conversation. Let's stay focused on the bill.
Yes, ma'am. We are talking about money going to nonprofit organizations, taxpayer dollars going to nonprofit organizations, which ostensibly are under the absolute control of the General Assembly, for making them a de facto government agency, but not one that we actually get accountability from. This is an example of an agency, a de facto government agency, taking funded strictly by taxpayer dollars in that same non-accountable position. So it's an illustration of what's going on. Funneled millions of dollars from Denver taxpayers to the program, some of them outside the city with no history of providing behavioral or mental health resources, who have no staff licensed by the state to provide professional counseling or drug addiction program treatment. Other nonprofits appear to have misrepresented their partnerships with the city and state agencies. $170 million later. Millions have gone to programs run by convicted felons and
Representative DeGraff, back to the content of the bill. Thank you. I think you've made your point. Please proceed back to the bill.
Ma'am, I'm not sure how that's not to the bill. The bill seems to be a violation of Article 5, Section 34. Appropriations to private institutions are forbidden. No appropriation shall be made for charitable, industrial, education, or benevolent purposes to any person, corporation, or community not under the absolute control of the state, nor to any denominational or sectarian institution or association. So that would mean, but as far as I know, we don't receive SMART hearings from these organizations, from these very profitable nonprofit organizations that we like to think are somehow benevolent because of the word nonprofit. Again, it just means they keep their profits internal, large administrative fees, large salaries, potentially. That makes this type of system rife for abuse and money laundering. That's why I'm opposed to it. We grow our nonprofit organization. Now, when you also look at that, if you just look at that ideologically, the collusion between a private organization and government, that's called fascism. Now, I know that's offensive to some, but that is what the term is. It's the collusion between government and industry. It's a collusion between government and some outside agency. And it has historically led to all sorts of abuse. Now, lots of campaigns are funded with this money. We know that. one or more contractors or grantors of the division, the program shall provide rental assistance, housing vouchers, eviction defense assistance, including legal, financial, or case management to persons experiencing homelessness. So in this case, the example that I gave you, followed by page after page after page after page, about 38 pages, of blatant abuse of the system, one thing that we could do for the people of Colorado is we could leave $170 million in their pockets and allow them to choose the disposition of that money. But there's no end to the good intentions of this body. Now, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You've heard me say that before. And sometimes I think that's the only road that this state is really interested in conserving. The road to hell, paved with good intentions. It's the only one that this state is really maintaining. That's, okay, we're caught up. We could leave money in people's pockets. Last time I checked, the tax liberation day was mid-April.
Representative DeGraff, you have 40 seconds remaining.
Thank you, ma'am. Was mid-April. That means the first 1/3 of your year is now compelled labor to the state. And we're looking at compelling even more. You are looking at compelling even more. Let's leave money in the pockets of the people of Colorado, have some oversight, stop pretending that these organizations are just some benevolent solution to all of our problems when they're just really an end run around accountability of this body.
Representative Richardson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
No. I was a yes vote in committee on this bill, with the understanding that a couple of common sense amendments could be made that would tighten up fiscal controls. One such amendment was made on second reading, and that was to ensure that past performance of any person contracted or any organization contracted to fulfill these requirements would be part of the assessment process before granting. The other that I had hoped to introduce was that there would be strong oversight at the other end during SMART Act hearings, that there'd be a requirement that we get information concerning the performance of any contractor or grantee administering the program, including any administrative or project delivery costs incurred. Now, I, like many in this chamber, are new. As we talked through these with leadership, and there was some discussion, I think, between both sides of the aisle, that the first amendment would be supported and introduced if the second was not. So I chose to introduce the first and not the second in order to get some look at past performance before the granting of any monies. Again, I thought it was pretty straightforward that we should be able to ask very specifically for a review of the outcomes of the money spent each year in SMART Act hearings, and that apparently was not acceptable at the time, and it was not introduced. And therefore, I will be a no vote today, and I urge others to be as well. There's some goodness here. DOLA is not asking to increase the structure of their department for an emergency program. They want to take money and give it to a contractor versus bring in people to provide oversight to such a program, people that would probably never go away. So I accept that. But we have to have good, strong controls on every dollar that we spend that belongs to our taxpayers. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Woog.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I do urge a no vote on this. I think the optics to some taxpayers are good. DOLA is going to funnel these funds to nonprofits. That's a good feeling. They're doing what's right. We trust in them. But as has been mentioned up here, that does take some liability off of DOLA, I believe. It's who's going to answer now? There's limited oversight. When stuff comes up, when the taxpayers start to wonder, holy cow, tens of millions of dollars we're giving to DOLA to give these nonprofits. What do we have to show for it? What's happening? So I urge a no vote, and I also ask the bill sponsors. I was in this committee, and it mentioned this is for eviction prevention, but if many or most of these people are homeless, isn't it just rent money? Thank you.
Representative Kelty.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
My
Rep.
problem with this bill, honestly, is I'm very fiscally minded, and for me, this is fuzzy math. If you actually pay attention to where the money is going, it's not cutting money like everyone's being asked to do. It's not money back into the pockets of Coloradans, and it's basically just transferring money. It's not cutting money. There are no reports. You're never going to know where it's going. You're not going to be able to track where that money is going for the nonprofits. I am for nonprofit help, but I'm not for transferring something into something that we're going to have absolutely no control over. This is the people's money. This is money that they work very hard for, and for it to not be watched, I have a problem with that. This fiscal note right here for me is very misleading. It's fuzzy math. Again, the fact that it can't be tracked, we're still funding it in a way. It's just in a way that we won't know where it's going. And to me, it's absolutely dishonest. We need to know where the money in Colorado is going to, and this is not the one that's going to be able to do it for us. And I ask for a no vote because I want to be able to tell the people of Colorado that we are being responsible with their money that they're giving us. It's not our money, it's theirs, and we need to spend it wisely. Thank you.
Representative Sirota.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I just want to be very clear about what this bill does and doesn't do. It is a bill to implement just a small technical correction to Proposition 123 language. Proposition 123, the ballot measure which Colorado voters passed in order to deliver dollars toward affordable housing, including homelessness initiatives. This is the section in DOLA that allocates a certain percentage of those $123 to homelessness initiatives. We spend money on contracts, thousands of contracts across state government to deliver the services that our constituents have tasked us with delivering. Sometimes we find it better, more affordable, not to grow state government, but instead to enter into public-private partnerships with trusted community organizations, because those are the organizations that are on the ground, trusted by community members to deliver those services and not add FTE to the state government. I thought that might have been a shared goal. So all this bill is doing is ensuring that we are able to continue delivering those homelessness initiatives, sometimes through these public-private partnerships that we already enter into across all departments of the state. And just to be clear, DOLA complies with all of the fiscal rules developed by the state controller. They perform monitoring and auditing. There are signed contracts with specific performance measures. The majority of contracts are reimbursement-based, so the contractors have to submit receipts or documentation that the work was performed. Proposition 123 requires reporting every year on October 1st, due to share with the public and the General Assembly how these dollars have been spent. There are plenty of mechanisms that we put in place as the state to ensure transparency and openness as to how state dollars are being spent and how they perform. And if anybody wants reporting on that at the SMART Act next year, you are more than welcome to do your due diligence and ask the departments to talk about it. It's just a simple correction, and the bill has nothing to do with appropriations. It is simply how the state delivers dollars that are already allocated to this particular programming. But it is important that we pass this bill soon so that we can ensure there is no gap in the service being delivered to thousands of our constituents who are utilizing these emergency rental assistance programs that the state has been delivering for the last couple years with federal and state dollars that we now want to utilize Proposition 123 dollars for. I ask for an aye vote.
Representative Woog, this is your second time to speak to the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't think my question got answered. In all sincerity, there's a difference between eviction protection and helping someone out for maybe a month or 2 months, but it would seem this is just rent money indefinitely for the homeless. So I'm just wondering, it's important to understand, is that the case? Is it just rent money indefinitely? Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1019 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Martinez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Martinez votes yes. Representative Gilchrist, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Gilchrist votes yes. Representative Bradley, how do you vote?
No.
Representative Bradley votes no. Please close the machine. With 41 aye, 21 no, 3 excused, House Bill 1019 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1058.
A House Bill 1058 by Representative Bradfield, also Senators Michelson, Janae, and Amabile, concerning modifications to the affirmative defense of not guilty by reason of insanity.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1058 on third reading and final passage.
Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd be crazy not to come down and talk on this bill today. Sorry. I was absent during the vote and did want to come down and explain why this is a really good bill and why not guilty by reason of insanity law needed to be updated. So Colorado, we had started the process of really updating this area of law 2 years ago by creating the Committee on the Treatment of Persons with Behavioral Health Disorders in the Criminal Justice and Juvenile Justice System. Or if you're into acronyms,
You can
that's
try
the
to gaslight me all you want, but what you will not do
Representative
is
Bradley, could you please mute yourself? Thank you. Please proceed, Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So if you're into acronyms, that'd be the BHDCJJS. I'll just say committee for short. The committee met and is bringing forward 2 bills. This is one of the 2 to update this area of law. Sections 1 through 10, if you're reading the bill, are really to modernize and update the statutes. So for example, as you're turning on page 2 to 3 of the bill, you see the first couple of sections. These are really non-applicable areas of law. The courts have struck down some of these phrases. These are no longer good areas of law. That's because we don't talk about a diseased mind, for example. We don't really talk in terms of an insanity defense being a person's gender identity or sexual orientation. That has fully been struck down by the courts. So striking it out of statute only makes sense to comply with case law. Sections 11 and 12 are the much more substantial sections in my mind. They deal with clarifying the law around custody during a sanity examination. That's section 11, which codifies the 2024 Colorado Supreme Court decision of the People against Arellano. This is a pivotal case that really did turn on how a person is presented during the examination on whether or not they're not guilty by reason of insanity. Section 12, the last part, allows a person to appear in plain clothes when proceeding through to be examined as to whether or not they are insane. I do want to point out, because there was some confusion about whether not guilty by reason of insanity is the same or different as not competent to stand trial. Those are closely related legal concepts, but are quite different. Not guilty by reason of insanity, which is what the bill considers here, is a defense raised at trial that the defendant was legally insane at the time of the act. Usually they will be committed to some sort of mental institution rather than going to prison. Not competent to stand trial means that the defendant is not able to participate in their own defense. And they will usually wait. We have a long list to try to be able to restore that person to competency to go ahead and stand trial. So I wanted to make these very clear because I do view this bill as a pretty straightforward cleanup bill and one of modernizing our statutes. Thank you.
Representative Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to get up here and clarify because I was a no in committee on this bill. However, I will be a yes today. So I think it's important for the colleagues here to explain why. If you've looked at the bill, which I know everybody here has, it's a very large cleanup bill, 40 pages long. About 39 pages of it looks like it's strike through. There was an amendment during the committee that just on the fly, it was hard to apply it at the time, so I wanted to buy a little bit extra time before I felt comfortable voting yes on it to look over what the amendment actually changes and some of the updates. But everything that my colleague from Delta said about it, I'm in agreement with. So I will be a yes on it today, but just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Armagost.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I had kind of the same sentiment as my colleagues in judiciary, but the issues I had that didn't force me, but caused me to vote no in committee and on seconds were just the simple lacks of clarity in the bill. In committee, it was uncomfortable for me because the bill drafter was answering questions that I was hoping that the sponsors would. So that gave me a level of comfort that I not quite what I needed to vote yes, but after hearing from the sponsors, at least one of them, since then, it's been made a little bit more clear the questions and issues that I had. So I too will be a yes today. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of House Bill 1058 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Martinez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Martinez votes yes. Representative Gilchrist, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Gilchrist votes yes. Representative Bradley, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bradley votes yes. Representative Joseph? Please close the machine. With 56 ayes, 6 no, 3 excused, House Bill 1058 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Schiebel, please read the title to House Bill 1015.
House Bill 1015 by Representatives Mabry and Zokai, also Senators Rodriguez and Gonzalez, concerning clarifying changes to ensure that bond can be posted online.
Madam Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move House Bill 1015 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of House Bill 1015 on third reading and final passage. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Martinez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Martinez votes yes. Representative Gilchrist, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Gilchrist votes yes. Representative Bradley, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bradley votes yes. Representative Joseph. Please close the machine. With 62 ayes, 0 no, and 3 excused, House Bill 1015 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Representative Martinez, co-sponsor. Representative Gilchrist, co-sponsor. Please close the machine. Members, we are moving on to announcements and introductions. Ah, my heart beats faster. Everyone is signing up. Representative Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm hoping they're still here, but I just would like to acknowledge that CU Boulder students in government is here in the gallery, so welcome them. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Representative Barone.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, everybody. I wanted to invite everybody for legislative reception this Wednesday, January 30th at 176 Grant Street. It's API Colorado, Colorado Oil and Gas Association, and Colorado Petroleum Association reception. Please come join us for some good food and talk to these great people with an industry that really tax revenue funds a lot of the state, especially education. So come say hi and meet these people. You can probably get some talking points in, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Clifford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The State Civic Veterans Military Affairs Committee will be meeting in LSB A at 1:30 p.m. We will be hearing House Bills 1057, 1048, and 1069.
Thank you. Representative Bradfield. All yours, Representative.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to invite the people of this House to the Bible study tomorrow morning that starts at 7:15 in room 109. That's downstairs, and breakfast is served. Please come and join us.
Thank you. Representative McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today is our first Agriculture, Water, and Natural Resources Committee meeting at 1:30 in room 107 in the basement. We will be hearing House Bill 1014. We will need to lay over House Bill 1009. We'll hear House Joint Resolution 1004, House Bill 1034, House Bill 1074, and House Bill 1064. It's going to be fun. We'll see you there.
Thank you. Representative Lindstedt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today at 1:30, the House Finance Committee will be meeting in the basement to hear House Bills 1012, 1037, 1045, and 1052. See you there.
Thank you. Representative Woodrow? Oh, Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is kind of a pre-announcement to one on Friday, but this Friday is going to be a Lunar New Year, and every year I hand out little red envelopes. But I did want to ask members if you'd be willing to wear red on Friday, red or gold, in honor of Lunar New Year. That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Woodrow? Representative Weinberg. Representative Woodrow.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Apologies for not signing up on the announcement page sooner. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning. We just wanted to take a moment to note that today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. 80 years ago, on January 27th, 1945, the gates of Auschwitz were opened, and more than 7,000 survivors were liberated. It is estimated that over 1.1 million people were murdered at Auschwitz and Birkenau during their operation. We will, of course, speak more on this in late April for Yom HaShoah, but we didn't want today to pass without marking the occasion. So thank you for your attention and your support. Never again, never forget.
Representative Weinberg.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you, fellow colleagues, for standing. You may be seated, please. Today's kind of a special day. For those that don't know or do know, I have direct ties to Auschwitz. My grandmother watched her father and mother die in the streets of Germany. My grandfather was lucky enough to escape and actually fight against the Nazis. My grandmother was not so lucky. She ended up in Auschwitz. And she was the sole survivor of my family from that side. So you will hear more in April, obviously, but again, please take a moment today. Big government is not worth it. Never forget. Thank you.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until later today.
The House will stand in recess until later today.